there has been moments, maybe a Saturday when I'm alone at office, where I've been crying.
Man, it's like good ain't good enough, so you gotta be great, and I'ma do whatever it takes, doing what I love in life, and I'll pay the price, and not stopping even if the shit kills me, even if it kills me.
Hi everyone, and welcome to MattGron Talks. My name is Mattias Gronborg, aka MattGron, and I'm the founder of the HubSpot agency iGoMoon, and here I share my scaling up journey, building that company from nothing to something. And with me, we also have my co-host Svea, who makes sure we don't get stuck in my head, so to speak.
So
how are you doing today, Svea?
I'm doing very well. It's getting colder, so I'm back to sweaters. I'm not ready for fall yet, though, even though it's my favorite season. But you know what? At this point, I have to remember to say my tagline because I've forgotten it a couple of times. And this is where entrepreneurship runs smack into reality. How do we do this? How do we run entrepreneurship smacking into reality? We talk about you as an entrepreneur, as a leader, CEO of iGoMoon, and you share your experience, knowledge with all of us. And how do we do that? We have different days with different topics, right?
Yes, we have. And today is Monday, and it's our first episode after the vacation. So I'm extra pumped to start this week. And on Mondays, we talk about personal development, what I learned growing as a human being and as a leader, building the company. And on Wednesday, we talk about business development related stuff that I learned in the entrepreneurial process, scaling up iGoMoon. And yeah, Fridays, they are really exciting because then I share my weekly self-inventory. Where I talk about things that I could have done better during the week, and also what I learned, and celebrations, victories, victory movements. And as you say, Svea, that's almost like my diary.
Yes,
yeah.
It is. I like that. Yeah, sometimes you are worried that we don't have anything exciting on Friday, not every week, but I always tell you, not every week can be exciting. So we just share how it is. This is raw here, okay?
Yeah,
so,
it is. That's very important to say. Because what I'm doing here is I'm documenting my entrepreneurial journey. It's a hard word to say. Entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, it's too bad that we use it so much. I also have my problems with it. Yeah. Entrepreneurial. Yeah.
Yeah, but in Swedish, entrepreneur. It sounds, even probably more crazy if you don't speak Swedish, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think it's easy for anyone to pronounce outside of Sweden.
All right. So I would say let's jump into our Monday episode. You already said on Mondays we talk about more personal things, personal development, leadership. And, so far we have on our journey of trying different things, we have been doing a format where we had different personal questions, like how I like to say, the colorful blend of questions. And that is nice, I think. But I also feel like sometimes when you were about to say something interesting, I need to jump over to the next question so that we stay on track. What is my job here as the host? So I want to try something else today and focus on one topic a bit more. So it's kind of similar to the Wednesday episodes, but the main topic is more about like yourself, the more personal side of being an entrepreneur. Are you up for that?
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
So I thought let's start on nothing positive. Let's start on something more difficult and serious, but an important topic, I think. And that is...
Should I be scared?
No. You'll be fine. But, we already talked about death, so what can be worse than that? So, no, my topic for today is failure. And... I have some questions prepared for you, but before, I want to hear about your entrepreneurial projects you had before iGoMoon, because I know you had like 1 or 2 companies before that. Maybe you can just share, first of all, what that was. What did you do?
So such a long story. Just before iGoMoon, I think there was different entrepreneurial movement going on in my life. I founded a like a service for holiday homes that kind of it was based on the idea that renting a holiday home is kind of a big trend. And let's say you and David rent a holiday home somewhere in Sweden, and you're walking around in that area, and then you see that, oh, there's a tree that has been fallen over that house, but you don't know who actually lives in that house or actually own it. Because I mean, it's holiday homes, and I mean, you are not living there.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it has been your home back home, so to speak, then you know your neighbors basically.
Yeah.
So then I developed a service where I sold a subscription where you get a tag on your house with an ID number, and you were just basically calling that number, and then you dial the number, and you use the ID, and then you could actually communicate with the house owner and tell them about the incident. So there was like a service, how should I say, it was like a consumer service. And I learned a lot. I learned that it's very expensive to market and do marketing for the consumer market, so to speak, and how much work it is to develop a service. And but I mean, during that period, I also did other things. I had like a consulting business going on where I helped B2B companies develop their sales processes. And I also started to learn about internet, because back then I realized that I really need to step up my game around internet. And I started to, read a lot of books, webinars. I found HubSpot. I learned about inbound sales and marketing, and I took my experiences as a salesperson, an entrepreneur, and suddenly I founded iGoMoon. So I think that's the short story about what I did and like how I ended up here.
Yeah, but thank you for the for the overview, because I think that's important to understand maybe the next steps. And so after you've done this, you have created iGoMoon from the scratch. And so, but before that, these other companies or your other company ended. So I'm going to carefully say maybe it failed, carefully say that. What do you think were the reasons why this business didn't work out?
I understand that you carefully say that they failed, but I mean, that's not how I look at these businesses when I look back and I'm trying to connect the dots, because I also, I mean, we have been talking about that I hate losing, like in an earlier episode, but in one way, I don't hate failing. Does it make sense? Like, I don't see these moments as failures, because now, when we are recording this vlog, I share stuff about my entrepreneurial journey about iGoMoon. But I mean, you don't know how the future looks like. And again, I'm just connecting the dots, and I share what I learn in the process. And I mean, like this time, in my life we are talking about now, it's also a part of my entrepreneurial process.
Yeah.
So I like, of course, sometimes I joke around and say that I have failed a couple of businesses before I founded iGoMoon, but I also took a decision to okay, I will stop doing this and I will do that instead. So it's like it's the entrepreneurial process is kind of not the same thing as change job. It's I think I mean, you are on a journey, pursuing something, and you don't quit.
Yeah, and I think some of these failures or setbacks, let's call it that, maybe, I think are necessary to learn, because I think none of us gets born as the perfect entrepreneur and knows exactly what to do. I mean, maybe some people, I don't know anyone, but I think most people had setbacks, like major setbacks. Like we talked about Elon Musk before, had like, I think, several companies that completely went bankrupt, but now look at where he is. And I think these things are important life lessons, I would call them. So I think I know what you mean with you don't really see them as failures. But I still want to know, now looking at that in hindsight, what were some reasons you believe that these things didn't work out? Was it maybe on your part, or was it just not the right time, not the right business idea? What do you think about that?
I think I think like I'm trying to answer the question. I don't see it that way, that it didn't work out. And you talked about the entrepreneurial process just before, and you talked about Elon Musk, and I think like what is super important to understand for me when I look back on my journey as an entrepreneur is that like everyone starts from different backgrounds. We have a different how should I say, qualifications to actually be able to grow or pursue a entrepreneurial venture. And I mean, sometimes like everyone needs to do their own lessons in that process to be able to grow and achieve different goals that we set up in life. And I don't you can't do that without without failing. And
yeah, I understand what you're saying, but when you look back at the time, like, I don't know how long that's ago, maybe 10 years ago, I'm not sure, but at the time when that happened, did you have the same approach? Did you not look at it as failure? But in the moment, what were your feelings when you ended that company?
It was the feeling was wow, like I was already looking at the future. Okay. I didn't have there was no regrets or kind of sad emotions going on. I was already like, okay, this is what I should do now, and if I didn't do that, I would never have been discovering this. So
okay, that's interesting what you're saying now, that you already looked forward. So it sounds like there was kind of a short timeline between ending this one business and then starting iGoMoon. Is that so? Was it kind of short in between and you already worked towards founding iGoMoon?
Yes, I think that's what I have been trying to explain. There was not like I'm still on the same journey.
Yeah.
It's I mean, in that case, it's not. I just remember that I had a conversation with a person and I said, I've decided to stop doing that. I will do this instead.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't remember if it was because in one way I had already started kind of the new journey with iGoMoon, even if there was not a name for it yet, like iGoMoon. I was already in the process of building the foundation for iGoMoon, and everything I see here today.
Yeah, okay, that kind of defeats the next question I prepared, because I wanted to ask you what like motivated you to get back on your feet and create iGoMoon, but I think you just answered that there was not really like an end and a start to something new. It was kind of like simultaneously this one thing ended, but the other thing already started boiling up in the background, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So like to summarize it, I think it's a process. It's not like I start and stop. And what kind of drives me and motivates me is the same thing. I want to build a company, create a legacy, and learn in the entrepreneurial process and grow as a leader and human being. I think, that's the core.
Yes, absolutely. So, and when you look back at this, as it sounds like you still look back at it and are proud of what you did, and it's still a part of your journey and where you're now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think then we actually ended on a very positive note. So this was going way better than I thought. But when you talk about failure, I think you always expect, something big must have happened, that he stopped this and then he did something else. But it was interesting what you said. It was kind of a smooth transition to the next step of your personal entrepreneurial journey. All right. But other than you have anything else to say, because sometimes I cut you off in the middle of something. If you have something to add it now. Otherwise, I would say that's our wrap for today.
I think I mean, as you said, failure is, I think it's so important for myself to remind myself where I come from, where I started, and I also need to remind myself of kind of going all in on myself, and I have never stopped. Even we can of course talk about emotions. I think somewhere you were kind of looking a little bit for that, like the feelings around a failure, or and I mean, of course, there has been moments, maybe a Saturday when I'm alone at office, where I've been crying because it has been so tough on an emotional level. But I mean, all these emotions is also so important to be able to reach these breakthrough levels where you transform yourself to another level. So I mean, what do you say, cliche? It's a cliche, is that a word? Yeah. No pain, no gain. But there could be no real growth without having pain. And you can ask that, like every sports person that compete on a high level, and they will tell the same, muscle pain and like a lot of other type of pains, like emotional pains. It's the same thing with entrepreneurship, but it's a very lonely sport to be addicted to or trying to pursue. But
thank you for sharing that part, also talking about emotions, and that you actually were sitting in the office crying, because I think too little people actually speak about that side of entrepreneurship or many different things as well. I think it's still, even 2021, people hide their emotions and it's like weak to cry or something. So I think you did something important there, that you actually said, it was tough, I cried, and I moved on. I think that's how it should be.
Yeah. Okay, so
now we have a wrap, right?
Yeah, we have a wrap.
I got the emotions out of you. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you
good.
as always for being open, Mattias, and see you in the next episode. And thank you guys for watching. If you like what we're doing, consider to subscribe, like, maybe leave a comment. It will make our day, right?
Yeah. Embrace for failure and never give up on your dream. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.